What happens if a predator and its potential prey are locked in the same space and forced to rely on each other? This incredible bond breaks all stereotypes and changes our view of nature. Hello, friends. What do we know about cheetahs? Now, many might say that it's a predatory mammal of the feline family, inhabiting most of the countries in Africa and also in the Middle East. Adding to that, it is the fastest of all terrestrial mammals, capable of reaching speeds up to 110 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. Looking at it, one clearly realizes that nature itself has created this animal as a skilled and fast predator. But these are facts from Wikipedia. What these graceful large cats truly represent was shown to the world not so long ago by one zoo. Initially, these videos and photographs shocked many, but once their story was revealed, people watched the unfolding events with awe and fascination. Recently, a zoo in the USA placed small puppies in the cheetah's enclosure and left them there to live. Naturally, one might expect the worst. Defenseless balls of fluff, one-on-one with this monstrous creature of the animal world. But things aren't quite as they seem at first glance. The whole point is that this strategy was specially devised by the zoo organizers, all to ensure the big cats wouldn't feel so lonely. Not many might know, but cheetahs are freedom-loving and social animals, and it's easy to guess that when confined, they often experience stress due to limited space and, most importantly, loneliness. Moreover, these big cats often suffer from anxiety. They pace in their cages, unable to find a place for themselves, and as a result, they need support. This is precisely why puppies are introduced to cheetahs, and not just introduced. As it turns out, dogs possess a remarkable ability to communicate with these predators. Of course, if you throw a lava to an adult cat, it won't work. It'll perceive it simply as a meal. But a young cheetah with a puppy eagerly makes contact. They start to play and interact. From a nervous predator pup grows a joyful pet who also trusts people as much as a dog does. Growing side by side, these animals remain kind and, most importantly, friends for life. Even after long separations, sometimes of several years, they always recognize each other. This very story happened with Kumbali, a cheetah cub born on May 12, 2015, at the Richmond Zoo. Unlike his brothers and sisters, he was born very weak, so weak that he didn't even have the strength to compete for food along with other cubs. They bullied him, and he lost weight and became weaker every day, and most likely this beautiful creature wouldn't have survived. But the zookeepers decided to take a desperate step. They understood that his life hung by a thread, so they took him away from his mother and organized artificial feeding. Over time, the weak little one gained strength and was able to eat independently. Later, Kumbali was returned to the cage with his mother and other cubs, but by that time, his kin had already forgotten him. Unfortunately, this happens not only to representatives of this species. The baby had a hard time again. His family didn't accept him, and even though he was already physically healthy and full of activity, people realized he was missing something. He became sad and lonely, lying all the time and just staring at one point, and it was evident even to the naked eye. Kumbali was dying of loneliness. The keepers could no longer watch this heartbreaking scene and came to the rescue once more. They decided, since his family doesn't accept him, he needs to find a new, true friend. And as luck would have it, that is precisely what happened, but later. The point is that finding a friend for this guy proved to be a rather challenging task. One needed to consider many criteria, age, size, and a dozen other factors. Yet a poor fellow, much like Kumbali himself, did emerge. Kaku, then still a teenage dog, was saved from euthanasia in one of the shelters. Despite his young age, he had already endured all the hardships and misfortunes of this life. He was kept in a den for animals where conditions were terrible, and the dogs didn't have a bright future. But animal rescuers discovered this place, dispersed domestic pets to new shelters, and began searching for loving owners. This is how Kaku was found by zookeepers. The playful puppy perfectly fit the role of a friend for Kumbali and was the same age. But at that time, no one knew for sure if they'd get along, find common ground, or even if anything would come of it, as it often happens that new neighbors don't get along. Their first meeting was very emotional. When Kumbali and Kaku first saw each other, they were very hesitant. Each of them watched the other with caution and some distrust. But soon, a real miracle happened. Kaku slowly approached Kumbali, sniffed him, and the next moment indicated that he liked him. He began to crouch and pounce on the baby cheetah, who couldn't understand what was happening or who was tugging at his tail. It was strange for the small cheetah to see a giant opposite him, but soon he began to show interest as well. As it turns out, curiosity and Kaku's friendly nature soon did their job, once again proving that dogs are excellent companions for anyone. Back then, the zoo staff couldn't have imagined how strong this alliance of two such different yet similarly fated animals would be, or what this friendship would result in. Over time, Kumbali simply refused to leave his new friend's side, and they even had to be housed together in the enclosure. With each passing day, their brotherly bond grew stronger and stronger. They played together all day long, inventing new games. For example, zoo visitors were enthralled by their games of hide-and-seek and tag. This pair frolicked together for days on end, without even noticing how quickly they were growing. Surprisingly, Kaku always protects his wild brother, and Kumbali, unaware of his predatory nature, lets his friend eat first, allowing him to go ahead. Despite being in the zoo, it seems this doesn't bother them at all. They don't pay attention to people at all and spend each day playing outdoors. It's safe to say they are now inseparable. They only sleep together, and cuddles have become routine. Everything from their first meeting has been done together, from sleeping to eating and playing outdoors. Every year, zoo employees give them gifts, as they now celebrate their birthdays on the same day. Kaku and Kumbali even unwrap their gifts together, like brothers. Over the years spent together, these friends have developed something much deeper than mere friendship. They feel like a continuation of each other and are always cheerfully engaged with other zoo inhabitants, as well as people. Watching these happy friends is sheer joy. They've become the informal postcards of this place. Not long ago, new serious neighbors moved into the adjacent enclosure who also defy anyone to mess with them. Of course, these new friends are penguins. Initially, everyone observed each other with caution. But when the keepers allowed Kaku and Kumbali to visit their new neighbors, the incredible happened. In the first few seconds, the penguins nibbled on their visitors, but soon began playing with them however they could, and this indeed looked quite amusing. But perhaps the most amusing new neighbor was a small piglet, who now annoys the pair more than anyone else. They still don't know that soon this mini pig, who is constantly pestering them, will become a massive 100-kilogram animal, and then it'll be even more interesting to watch their games. Since the first meeting of these different-natured animals, enough time has passed, yet the cheetah and dog still live in one enclosure and are happy with each new day. They do everything together, entertaining visitors with their playful chases, hugs, and tender relationships. This story once again proves to all of us that animals that are different in appearance and lifestyle can wonderfully get along and forge incredibly strong friendships, something that can't always be said about us, humans. Maybe we do have something to learn from them. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. See you soon.